Hey, everybody. Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there. Six is a good number. Six is a really good number. Yeah. Very, very cool. Let me just grab my other window here. There we go. All right. I just wanted to make sure that there we go. All right. Yay. So happy to see you all. So I'm doing this one a little differently. I'm not going to be sharing the screen because I don't want to be looking at slides. I want to be looking at all of you actually, because this call is all about intention. And it's really been a theme this past month. Dana put on this beautiful intention this past month, and we're going to talk about a little bit about that a little later on. But this is going to be one of those calls where we're going to explore the idea of intention, and not just intention for ourselves, but intention for others, and how all of that plays into everything we've been doing so far. Actually, this is really kind of cool because as I was thinking of and making writing my notes out for this call, it was really kind of cool because you all are here because of an intention that was set. And my intention is to help people reach for better. Always reach for better. Not that there's anything wrong with where we are. Where we are is something to be deeply grateful for, but we can also be grateful for what is better, what is coming, what is happening, what's on the horizon for us. And that's the part that excited me about not only launching the membership, but every one of these calls, that setting our intention, our collective intention, our individual intention. What is it that we want? What would we like to see happen? So that's what this whole call is going to be about. And I'm really charged up about it, if you can't tell. So the call is being recorded. I'm just going to go through a little bit of housekeeping before we kick things off. If you have any questions, we're a small enough group. Just unmute yourself. But if we can kind of keep to the end, or if you want to drop it in the chat and then we can kind of pick up on it, that would be great. But otherwise, it's really kind of not that it's unstructured, it's definitely structured. It's just a little different. So, like I said, I want to be sharing the deck because I want this to be more conversational, more engaging. And when we'll also be setting an intention during this call. So you might want to like turn the camera off while that's going on. I'll be sharing some music and guiding us through. So here's the thing that kind of, you know how things pop up for you when you're not looking, but all of a sudden you're reading a passage and you go, oh my gosh, this fits perfectly into what I'm going to be doing here. And I was reading a passage from Neville Goddard, and he said that the great secret is a controlled imagination and a well-sustained attention, firmly and repeatedly focused on the object to be accomplished. If that doesn't describe setting an intention, right? It's engaging our imagination and our will, two of our higher faculties. Focused attention, using our imagination. When we set an intention, as we're going to find out, the process through the power of 8 is having that image in our head, the intention statement that holds our attention as we meditate and send that energy out. And here's the thing that's really cool is that Neville Goddard actually wrote this in 1952. So this is not a new concept. This isn't new age. This is an understanding of how energy works, how the universe, the universal laws operate. It all ties into that. Okay. So it's obviously been well known in some circles that focusing our energy on a specific intention is a very, very powerful thing. So we'll be exploring all of that in depth today. So before we do, let's just briefly recap what we were talking about last month. We talked about beliefs and specifically limiting beliefs, those things that trip us up and get in our way of achieving our goals. So we learned that we believe on two levels, the conscious level and the subconscious level. So we can say, yeah, I believe that. Sure, I believe that on a conscious level, but our subconscious holds a very different story. And so we talked a little bit about that. We reviewed how the mind works and how that relates to our beliefs. And since our subconscious controls our behavior, we were introduced to a new word, praxis. And praxis is the integration of belief with behavior. We did a 7 life areas exercise that I hope you're still working on all of it, because, that's the whole point of having these coaching calls recorded, because it may not be what you're looking for in that particular instance, but when you go back to a recording, you'll swear you didn't hear me say or see that slide when you review it. And yet it's only because you weren't ready to receive that information at the time that you were watching it, or at the time that you were doing this exercise. So go back over the beliefs one, because that's an ongoing thing. You could feel really good and comfortable about, a limiting belief that you've been able to kind of break through in one area, but there might be another one in another life area that requires your attention. So make sure that you go back over this exercise, because stuff always pops up. We are never one and done in this world. When we start doing the work, that's why it's always about reaching for better, right? When we start doing the work, there's always stuff that pops up. And finally, last month, Dana walked us through a beautiful meditation. She had to pop away, which is too bad, because I really wanted to. Well, and she'll see it in the recording. I'm so grateful that she was able to do that, because this was a really beautiful moment in that coaching call. And I was able to extract that meditation. So you can download it from the back office at any time and listen to it anytime. There she is. Dana, I was just saying how grateful I am for that beautiful meditation that you walked us through
Oh,
last month. It was amazing, because you had us tap into our imagination, just like that Neville Goddard quote that I just said, right? We were tapping into what if, right? And getting into the belief that, and integrating that. So it was really it was really quite something. I went through it a couple of times after that, and
oh,
it's
that's
quite
wonderful.
powerful. Yeah. So I was also saying that I was able to extract it and create its own entity in the back office, so you can download it, listen to it on the go. Well, not while you're driving, because it is a meditation.
And I hate listening
After
to my own
all.
voice, so I won't be listening.
Yeah. Anywho, so yeah, so like I said, if you haven't gone through last month's call, be sure to take the time to go through it. And even if you were on the call last month, it's worth revisiting. And all of these calls, they're evergreen, meaning they have value anytime. Oh, what's this? Oh, yeah, I was been saying would love more of Dana's guided meditations. Oh, no kidding. Yeah, she's the best, honestly. Okay, so what's on tap today? So today we're going to be talking about universal. Uh, Hang on a second, let me get myself together here. We're going to talk about universal consciousness. We're actually going to define what that is. We're going to talk about the science behind group intentions and the power of eight, the book, The Power of Eight. And yes, more to come. And yes, there is. And how a Power of Eight group actually works. And I'm also going to introduce you to a really cool piece of technology. Some of you have heard me talk about this, but it's an app called Altruistic, and I'll show you how that works and how we can incorporate it into our daily lives. to expand our power to shape the world around us. That's really what intention is. That's what we're doing. So yeah, let's get started. So universal consciousness. Um, you know, I've heard that term so many times, and then I thought, I wonder what would happen if I type this into Chat GPT. What does Chat GPT think universal consciousness is? And who doesn't love Chat GPT? Seriously, I'm having so much fun with that thing. But it was really quite interesting. I'm not going to read you the whole thing, but here it is in a nutshell, right? It states that universal consciousness is a concept that refers to a shared collective awareness that transcends individual minds. And we already know how the mind works. It's the idea that all beings are interconnected through a single vast consciousness that pervades the universe. So when I read that, I'm thinking we are all individual, like batteries, if you will, and it's like plugging into the main grid. So think of, let's say, someone that is on solar power, getting their energy from the sun and then feeding that energy back into the grid. Does that make sense? Right? So essentially the same thing. So here are some key aspects to universal consciousness. Um, Interconnectedness. So what it does, it's just like the battery analogy that I just used, right? That's saying that all living beings are connected at a fundamental level. It also, another key aspect is transcendence, where we get to transcend our own ego. We get to step outside of ourselves, take the focus of attention off ourselves and onto something else. Spiritual perspective, there are a lot of spiritual traditions and practices and philosophies such as Hinduism, Buddhism, that actually see this as a universal consciousness is a key aspect to that philosophy or belief, whatever you want to call it. And then and this is a sort of kind of thing, the Carl Jung's theory of the collective unconscious, that it's somewhat related because it's proposing that all humans share a set of memories and archetypes that are inherited from our ancestors. To a certain degree, yeah, I could see that. And of course, quantum physics, which is something that Lynn McTaggart refers to in The Power of Eight. And there are some interpretations of quantum physics that suggest that particles are interconnected in ways that may be explained by a form of universal consciousness. So they talk about electrons and protons and so on and so forth. And that once they connect and they start communicating, the distance doesn't matter. And this is what Lynn McTaggart writes about in The Power of Eight, that you could be setting an intention in Australia, as she did, and the results were being manifested in Tucson. So it's a really cool thing, man. I'm just loving this. So in essence, the universal consciousness is about recognizing that our individual consciousness is part of a larger interconnected whole that encompasses all of existence. This is a huge idea. So let's put it down into bite-sized pieces. So I'm going to get into some of the little sciencey stuff that Lynn McTaggart wrote about, because that's the part that really blew my mind. Part of me loves this stuff because, yeah, I can be a little bit of a woo-woo junkie, but at the same time, I also need to put my finger in the hand and go, okay, come on, seriously, how's this work? So this is where she explained it. And in The Power of Eight, she worked with Dr. Gary Schwartz, who's a psychologist and director of the Laboratory for Advances in Consciousness and Health at University of Arizona. And what they did is, it was really quite interesting reading this part of the book, because she was all about setting group intentions. She had stumbled on 8 people kind of being the right number, and and she was, when she was talking to him, she's like, okay, so let's do, she was talking in terms of people. right? Let's set an intention for people and that kind of thing. And he goes, okay, hang on. We need to walk before we can run. So let's start with seeds. Let's start with something like a living organism, but let's start small. So, long story short, they decided on a group of barley seeds because this is common grain for both livestock and humans. And where they had one pod with the directed intention to grow faster, and then 3 control pods. And each pod had 30 barley seeds apiece. They also conducted control experiments alongside, that is, outside the intended audience. So the control was, yeah, they still had 4 pods there. One was marked as intended, but really there was no energy being sent to that pod. It was just 4 that were kind of running in tandem. And so, meanwhile, while this is going on, Lynn is traveling the world speaking and using her audience to set group intentions for these seeds. So the first stop, I believe, was in Australia, and the seeds are in Tucson, as I mentioned. And in the book, she writes that, as any scientist will tell you, a single experimental result is meaningless. Just because it worked out doesn't mean it wasn't a fluke. So the whole purpose is really to prove that it isn't a fluke, that there is significant impact happening based on these actions. So the outcome can be pure coincidence, an artifact, as scientists call it. It's only when your study is replicated many times that you can say with any certainty that you found true effect. So they ran this 6 times, where Lynn would have her audience, wherever she was in the world, set the intention for the target pod, and they saw significant results each time they ran it. And long story short, it was undeniable. So and all the targeted plants grew higher, I think that, yeah, 56 millimeters versus 48 millimeters. And that was significant enough. That was enough of a delta to show, yep, something's happening here. So to say that this was a fluke would be the equivalent of flipping a coin and hitting head 143 times in a row if it was just by chance. That's huge. So this is, and even more remarkable was that, yeah, she was speaking to large audiences most of the time, but she found that the smaller group results were as, if not more potent. Ergo, the power of 8, coming up with that particular number. So it's not necessary to have huge audiences to have a huge impact. It's actually quite interesting the way 8 people's energies can be leveraged for something huge. So this is that saying, right? That those of us that are vision board facilitators, we've all seen this in the slide, right? That the big doors move on small hinges. There's another link to that one, to that statement. And the number 8 was actually started out as a random thing when she was testing this out with people, and it turns out it was the sweet spot. So that was kind of, she stumbled upon that, and it was the sweet spot based on anecdotal results. Now, can the number be smaller? Yes. Can it be bigger? Yes. She's found that maybe even around 6 is okay. That works. And bigger, yeah, but up to 12. Beyond that, start breaking it down into smaller groups. And so in the book, and that's what I love about the book, because the fact that Lynn McTaggart is a journalist. So for her, she had the same sort of thinking that I did, is like, okay, I gotta put my, I gotta see it. How does this work exactly? Because she's got to turn around and write about it and explain it, and in her mind and in her training. So she breaks it down in a way that it shows us how easy it is to create a power of 8 group. The book also shows us that even if the intention is to someone else, those that participate in these intentions get their own sweet little windfalls that I'm hoping Someone on the call is going to share about that because so there's an acceptable selfish element to participating in a power of eight. Okay. Because energy doesn't care where it goes. It really doesn't. It's like you're opening yourself up to possibilities. So, now maybe I think I would like to kind of jump in and ask if Dana, if you wouldn't mind sharing your experience and the Power of Eight group that you set up recently
Mhm.
and how that's helped.
Sure. I mean, I think the challenging thing is I haven't received feedback about it yet, but
Mhm.
I'll get to that part.
Yeah.
So my okay, how can I put this? A friend of a cousin, an ex-girlfriend of a cousin. Okay, this is a private group, so I'll give the details. Um, had a has a little girl with my husband's cousin. They're not together anymore, but she's been diagnosed. She's about, I'm not sure if she's 28 or 30. I think she might be 30. And she was diagnosed with cervical cancer, which now has spread. And my understanding is that her prognosis is very poor and it's terminal. Um, in these situations, there's a 7-year-old daughter, and our hearts go out to her. And you feel quite helpless. What can we do? And I, I'm really interested in all kinds of things and very open-minded as long as it doesn't cause harm for people. And there's this saying, if you do nothing, nothing happens. And if you do something, something could happen. And we've been talking about the Power of Eight book, and I've been fascinated by the Power of Eight for months, but I haven't picked up the book, or I hadn't. I finally did, and I thought, well, why couldn't I just ask, 7 friends who don't know this young woman, and I'm not particularly close to her, but I know her and have this connection. Um, and so I thought, well, why don't we do a Power of Eight, and ask for a miracle here. And when you ask for or set an intention in the Power of Eight, you don't just say, let's hope that she gets 2 extra months, or something like that. No, we're asking for full and complete healing of all cancer in her body. So we got together. I asked 7 people. All of them said yes. All of them. And I said, okay, well, we're going to be very ambitious here and go 8 nights, 8 women at 8 o'clock for this young woman.
Yeah.
And so I made up a slide and put her picture on it. And I don't have many pictures of her. I pulled it off of my husband's cousin's Facebook and isolated her, and then just put the intention on the slide. So we all met remotely. And it only took about 15, 20 minutes tops every evening. Very efficient. Wait for everyone to get there. I walked everyone through it, set the intention. We sat then for 10 minutes in silence, focusing on the intention of her full and complete healing. And the difficulty is I don't have a direct line to her, so I couldn't say to her, how are you doing? And get the feedback. And it's like a broken telephone, because then I'll ask my husband's cousin and he intermittently will respond to my texts. So I think my only, but at some point I will get the feedback and share with the group, but my suggestion would be, no matter what kind of, if you decide to do a Power of Eight, have a mechanism for the feedback. Cause that's fun and it's thrilling to hear maybe something positive came from it. And more often than not, probably something something positive will come from it, and
Mhm.
you want to know about it. So, I mean, in this case, even if it was a significant reduction in pain for her, that would have been a win for us.
Right.
And anyway, so that it was, Carol, you say we talk about the possible rewards for ourselves, and I mean, I think that's just you know, a secondary, that's not the intention why people come together, but it's a wonderful consequence or consequence
Yeah.
negative, and a
Well,
wonderful effect.
Yeah, agreed.
A
And one of the
bonus.
things I found really cool with that was that we all had different imagery after we kind of did like a debrief after we did the 10-minute meditation. It was really kind of cool because some of us saw her jumping on the bed with her daughter, all healthy and laughing, and that kind of thing. Others saw her at her daughter's wedding. There were images that came up, and it's that kind of thing I think that is so I there that's part of the I f
And then
the only way I could describe it is it's kind of magical that all of a
it is.
sudden yeah.
And then, other people would share privately and say that they, in their mind's eyes, saw divine light beings coming and offering her healing and things like in very distinct detail. It's just wonderful
Yeah.
and really beautiful.
Yeah.
So, what harm can come from people coming together to try to help another living being, another person or another animal, or a situation that's causing someone very like a lot of stress.
Mhm.
Maybe someone's unemployed and they need a job, or someone, I don't know, has some kind of debt that they need to sort out. And why couldn't people come together and set the positive intention for something good to come to that person? And like there are no limits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and
It
it's
just
always for the best of all involved and the person involved. It's never for any ill will.
absolutely. And I think that's just it. I think it just opens that door for all of us to get
Of
into this
possibility.
beautiful energy, this white light of yeah, it was just a really cool experience. I found myself looking forward to it.
I know. I think many of us did.
Yeah.
Actually, everyone said like, "Oh, I love it."
Yeah.
And we 2 nights we didn't meet in like online together, but we decided to take a moment, individually to set the intentions. Um, but it was really wonderful, and I think everyone did enjoy it.
Yeah.
And we'll probably do a monthly meeting after that.
Yeah. Well, and that's something that we'll be doing as well here. So, you can join several Power of 8 groups. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. Oh, and I hate when it does that. I'm always talking with my hands, and when I put my hand up, it thinks I'm actually trying to ask a question. So, anyway, but yeah, my intention, as it were, pun intended. Oh, here we go. How many times can I say intention in an hour? Um, so I would like to get a Power of 8 group started within Badass Coaching because that's something we talked about. Yeah, yeah, and Yasmin, thank you. That's what triggered me to say that actually is that you said definitely be on tap for a Power of 8 for these intentions. Absolutely. And oh, great. Dan too. Awesome. This is great. Listen, we almost made the 8 today. Hi, Kara. We're at 7. That's actually pretty good. So and I think it is important to be part of that kind of energy. And it becomes really easy after a while. It's like get in, get out, nobody gets hurt, sort of thing. Like we'll have we'll know what the drill is, and we just pop in, decide what the intention is, decide what the intention statement is, and then off we go. We do the meditation, and then
Yeah,
we
and
get on with it.
I I'll just say, Carol, I wanted to make it so that it was in and out, so people
Yes.
didn't feel like it was a burden,
Yes.
and I think it worked out pretty well.
Oh, it worked out beautifully. You did a magnificent job getting us like
I was winging
because
it.
it's got to be like herding cats. I mean, as I'm going to find out, I'm sure, but
No, it wasn't.
okay,
It
good.
wasn't at all. People
Excellent.
said yes, and they showed up.
Yeah.
And, if they couldn't, that's no problem. We just went ahead anyway, and then we would invite if we were one person short, we would invite a divine being to join us.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I like
I
a
love
little
that.
magic.
No, but I loved when you introduced that, the invitation of a divine being to take their place, and
Yeah.
it was really kind of cool because we were all had that image in our head that there was
Yeah.
okay, yeah, there's a spot and it's filled. It's fine. We're good. Yeah. So almost from the get-go, then when, Dana would do like a debrief the following day. So, hey, has anybody noticed any changes or whatever? And D pipes up. This was the first day, wasn't it? Oh, you're on mute.
First or second day, yeah.
Yeah.
Did it start on the Friday or the Saturday?
We started on the Friday, right?
Or maybe it was the Sunday.
Um,
No, it's a blur. I think it was like,
Uh, I think we started on a Sunday.
okay, it was, yeah,
I
it was the
think,
next
yeah.
day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so the very next day I woke up to a phone call early morning from Kettle and Stony Point Youth Center, and I'm like, what are they calling for? And I have been in contacts with people there for the Elders Lodge to do a painting. So it was like maybe they're just in a different location. No, I'd won the barbecue, so that's kind of that's kind of the thing.
The coolest thing.
Yeah, right from the start.
Yeah, right from the get-go. It just set the tone. It was like, "Whoa, okay."
It's cool. And then other people and then people were feeling better too. Like there were elements of people feeling better from it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was yeah, that's just it. I think that's what it is. We walk away with this. Oh, wow. This is really there's something. It's almost impossible to describe, which made this call a little challenging, I got to tell you. So thank goodness we did have some experience with it because otherwise it would be yeah, it would be that much more. Oh, here we go. Oh, cool. Kara's in. Awesome. Divine barbecue. I love that, Dan. It's exactly. It runs on good intentions, my friend. Oh, that's very cool. All right. So I would like for us to go through setting an intention. And because some of us are already familiar with the intention that Dana set for Amanda, we thought we'd do the same one today, if you're open to that. Okay. So here's how, and I'm just going to share my deck because I want you to be able to see what you're going to get. Just to kind of set the stage here, let me, where's my Zoom window? There we go. So we're going to share. Okay, so essentially, and Dana, correct me if I'm wrong here. So essentially what we did, because we were online, we imagined that we were all sitting in a circle with a hand on each other's shoulder, connected somehow. Okay. And then we picture that the target or the intended is in the center of that circle. Then we closed our eyes, we focused on our breath, we got centered with Dana's calming, dulcet tones, walking us through that. And then we held the intention statement in our minds. And we imagined that statement with all of our senses. And I think that's where that imagery popped up for some of us, that we could see her at her daughter's wedding, or, we could hear things, we could see these divine beings. There was all this sort of stuff. It's because we leaned into all of our senses as we were holding that image in our minds. And then we also, once we got into the meditation, that we saw each other as a single entity, and then meditated, focused on the outcome in detail. We sent the intention out through our heart chakra as well. And Lynn McTaggart says it can be anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes when we do these. Okay. So, what I'm going to do, let me go to the next slide so that, oops, there we go. Hang on. Oh, and Amanda's picture didn't show. Hang on a second. Because that's the important part. We need to see her healthy. Bear with me. See, I just added it. Thank goodness I had it handy. Let's. Yep. Okay. Ooh, gotta like technology, man. Okay, so let me share this. Okay, and then give me a moment here so that I can get my notes to make sure that I'm okay. So I'm going to let me locate the music. I've already got that queued up as well. Let me know if you can hear this.
Is that the music that Lynn McTaggart
Shoku Ray.
suggests?
Yeah, Shoku Ray.
Yeah, so the feedback I got, it sounds good. That sounds good. The feedback I got was that those crescendos in the music were distracting for people.
Ah, okay. So if I turn it down a little
Or
bit, is that
maybe, yeah,
too loud or?
a little loud.
Okay,
But I mean, we could always adjust our own volume.
It's all good because I can do it with the audio settings from Zoom. There we go. That's lower, right?
Still loud,
Still loud?
a little bit. But we can just adjust our volume individually.
Yeah, maybe because then I can't hear you guys if I.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you may want to do that then. Yeah, if you're finding it loud, just reduce the volume a little bit on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we good?
Yeah.
All right. So have a look at the image of Amanda here. And I want you to imagine that we're all sitting in a circle with a hand on each other's shoulder. We see Amanda sitting in the center of that circle. Close your eyes and focus on your breath. Centered. And here is the intention statement that I want you to hold in your mind, and that is, it is our intention that Amanda is immediately, completely, and permanently healed of any and all cancer in her body, so that she's healthy and well in every way. Imagine that the group is a single entity. We'll meditate, focus on this outcome for Amanda in detail, and we're sending out our intention through our heart chakra. And we'll do this for 10 minutes. Now, gently bring your awareness back to this moment, in this present time. How was that? Any shares? Anything come up for you?
That was really beautiful. I just want to thank each of you for offering a complete stranger compassion and love, and it was very moving.
Yeah. Yeah. This was, yeah, it's reminiscent of when you did it, Dana. There's something very powerful about doing these types of intentions, these group intentions.
Mm. There's no wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
I know, Carol, you were saying something like, I hope I'm doing it right or something.
Yeah.
There's no wrong way to offer someone compassion and kindness.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. Yeah. So this is one way of being able to do it, either in person or online. Before I continue, did anybody else have any other shares? Anything come up for you? Excuse me.
That was amazing.
Cool.
Yeah, I was on a ride. It was really uh it was just great to connect like that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. It's palpable, isn't it? You can feel it. This. Oh, Brenda Lynn, you gotta. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
I
Oh,
have to go, but that was beautiful. It really was beautiful. I love our collective energy, and I continue to pray for Amanda and hope that she finds what she needs. Yeah. But
Thank
thank you. I have another call I have to hop on to.
all good.
So,
All good.
but thank you. We'll see you all next Tuesday.
All right. Take
Bye.
care. Bye, Brenda Lynn. Okay, so this last piece oh, cool. Yes, thank you, Dana. Yeah. Yeah, and understanding that's not always possible too, depending on what we set the intention for, right? Sometimes it's setting an intention for a particular situation or an experience. And so sometimes it's just a kind of a wait and see kind of thing. But here's something that I've discovered recently, and let me just, oh, and of course, this is really bizarre that none of my images have, none of my images are showing up. Okay, um, so I'm not even going to bother sharing the screen, but I want to, I will in a moment actually, just to talk to you a little bit about how we can use technology now for setting an intention. And I know some of you have heard me talk about this app, Altruistic, which by the way, like I get zero compensation for this, like just so you know. But I'm the reason I'm pushing it is because I think it really is super cool, and it is one of those things that it was created with the right intention. Again, it's like I keep hearing like a ka-ting every time I say the word intention. How many times can I say it in an hour? But it is the woman that created this, the founder of Altruistic, Tiffany Churchill, by the way, is someone I'm going to be interviewing tomorrow, and I'm really excited about it. She's going to be on Badass Banter, and her idea behind it was that she's done the Power of Eight and all of these things, and has been immersed in this world for decades now, and it's really just to make the world a better place. And ever since COVID too, this is one of those things that reduces isolation a lot of people are still feeling isolated and alone and not really connected. And because there was such a huge disconnect, that it was one of those like bam, huge emotional impact. And we're kind of we've come back from it, but a little bruised and battered in terms of connecting with other human beings. And so that's what this app does. And it does it in a way of setting intentions. So the app is really quite cool. It has a social feel to it, but I call it a social feel good instead of social feel FOMO or social feel I'm not enough, a social feel my life's just a B-roll, like right. This is more social feel good in that you can the UI, it has the scrolling thing. So you see images of here's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do because my images didn't show up. Oh, actually, even better. Hang on.
It's called altruistic.
All true, ALLTRUE, istic. So what I'm going to do is, let me open this. I can actually share my iPhone, and that's what I'm going to do. Advanced iPhone via AirPlay, share. Yeah. Oh, shoot. Okay. Okay. Sorry, we're just going to go a wee bit longer. Hopefully you'll be able to. If you can't, then if you can't stay on, don't worry about it because then you can catch it in the recording. But I feel this is a really important piece because this is one way that we'll be able to connect when we do our own Power of 8. Okay. Just bear with me. Okay, so I have to make sure I'm on the right network. Yes, and then screen mirroring. Screen mirrorings. Okay. There we go. Can everyone see this? Can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is altruistic. So like I said, it's got kind of a social feel in that there are all these intentions that have been uploaded. So in this case, we have the 2 astronauts that are stranded on the International Space Station. They have been for the last 2 months. So here's one that when you tap on it, you see what the intention setting or the intention statement is. Join our team in intending that Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams have arrived safely home from space. And then you see that the length is 72 seconds because anybody can do something for 72 seconds. Okay. And on this one, you can see at the bottom, you see where it says global, hashtag humanity. The number that you see right below it, those are the number of intentions that have been sent for them. You can also leave a comment in this so that when you begin the intention, so if I hit begin, we're not going to go through it, but I'll just walk you through what it's like when you're doing an intention on the app. So it tells you right to set the stage, if you will, to step outside your current circumstances and into the present moment where all possibilities exist. Slow your breath, be fully in the now. You tap on it. Then it gives you instructions to connect to your heart, do the mind, heart, or heart brain connection. Pardon me. Cultivate feelings of love and gratitude. Your heart is the center of your life force. Expand its powerful energy. And then clear your mind. Focus your awareness on your breath, your heart. Allow the chatter of the mind to fade into silence. And then heart and mind in unity. This state of coherence amplifies the frequency of your intention. Bring the full experience to life, feeling it, imagining it, and believing it to be all true. So just as the instructions that Lynn McTaggart gives us, these are kind of a condensed version of that. And here's the intention statement again. There's the image. Join our team in intending that Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams have arrived safely home from space. And then you click on begin. And then it'll run for the 72 seconds, but then there's this really gorgeous music. I don't know if you can hear it. As the picture gets clearer. So now, yeah, it's actually not keeping up. There's a bit of a lag. It's down to 40 some seconds, but this is essentially the process. So you're really just tuning in for 72 seconds. As the picture gets clearer and clearer. I don't know if I can skip through this. Yeah, I am. I'm going to stop it because just in the interest of time. Then once you've done the intention, turn the energy inward, bless yourself for your contribution. And that's it. And then you can continue exploring. So now, if you wanted to add an intention, there's a whole series of steps. So I'll leave the video. There's a YouTube, and they've got video on the site itself, walking you through how to create one. But suffice it to say that you can either make your intention public, personal, where it's just for you, or private, where you're creating a private group. And this is what I would like to leverage with Badass Coaching's Power of 8 group, is having everybody on there, and we can connect on the app so that when you create a private group, you just add the people from your group into it. You can make it for 72 seconds, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes. And it's the exact same process. You load an image of either the person at a healthy time, in a healthy time, or and then having the intention statement popped in your description. That's what your intention statement is. And that's it. So just to give you an example, I popped one in there for the sale of my house. That's not my house. That's the one I'm moving to. But it's really quite cool because and I called it a new chapter, and that our current townhouse is looking spectacular, sells within 5 days to people who are thrilled about their purchase. Our packing and staging experience is joyful and smooth as we transition to our new home with ease. All financing and details around this move are seamless. It's a beautiful experience. So that's the intention that I set. And already I've got a couple people. Well, Janet, actually, Yasmin, Janet's the one who introduced me to this app. And she's actually been working with Tiffany Churchill on this. So anyway, so then, and there's a complete stranger, Jack Miller. I have no idea who that is, but hey, he set an intention. So it's just the coolest thing ever. So I thought, well, okay, I'll try it out and see what happens. And so far,
My
so
God,
good.
I'm posting my house on there.
Yeah, do it. Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wouldn't even think of it. I hadn't thought of it until I was talking to Janet yesterday, as a matter of fact. And she went, why aren't you putting this on Altruistic? And I went, oh, I could have had a V8. You know? Oh my gosh. Am I dating myself? Does anybody remember those ads? Oh, good. Anyway, so that's yeah, so that's the not sure long and short of it actually is on this app. But this app can be used as a group, which is what I love about it. And the way that Lynn McTaggart sets it up is when you're doing a power of 8, everybody writes their intention, their own personal intentions, and then there's a rotation. Right? We go through the rotation. Okay, who is setting the intention for? So whoever's got something, you bring whatever you're intending for yourself to the table, and then everybody gets a turn. So that's the other part of it. That's quite cool. Yes, you can be doing it for strangers, absolutely, but you can do it for the people within your group of 8. So it's just one of those really cool things. So going forward, just so I can wrap up the call, because I'm way over time now, aren't I? 6 minutes over. I would absolutely encourage you to download the app, Altruistic, and start having some fun with it, play around with it, try a couple of intentions. The 72-second ones they're a snap. It's really quite, and it's really, if you're in a crappy mood, pull out the app. Seriously, those 72 seconds are going to snap you right out of it. I promise. It's been really, really helpful for me anyways. And then connect with the other members. So once you're on the app, go look for me, go look for Dana. Dana's on there. I think we've connected. And go look for people that are in our membership. And then and join a power of 8. Right? Dana's going to be holding one. She's going to be doing it monthly. So join a power of 8 group and join the badass one. Join as many as you can handle. It's well worth it. And start writing out your own intentions. What is it that you want to intend? Dana, you've already said, hey, I'm going to put my house in there. Write out your intention statement. There's a lot of science. Oh, okay. I'm going to want to see this too. There's a lot of science that supports how doing these acts of compassion can improve physical and mental health. Absolutely, Dana, you're right. Yeah, I just touched on it on this call, but there's so much there's so much for it than there is against it. Yeah. So write out your own intentions, what it is that you intend for your own life, what you want to see. And I will definitely keep you posted to listen and watch the interview with Tiffany Churchill on Badass Banter. I'm really excited. I've already had a conversation with her and she blew my mind. So anyways, this is the wrap up to the call. I don't know if any of you have any additional questions. I'm here. I can stay on. I'm not sure about the rest of you, but if there's any comments, any parting words, speak now.
I've got to run, but thank you, Carol. This is really exciting, and I'm excited to join your Power of 8 group, and with all of us connected and connect on the app. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So thank you for bringing it to us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I was really excited about this. So my intention is fulfilled.
Thank you as well. Yeah, that was really nice.
Awesome. Awesome. And we want to hear about the win last Friday, Mr. Dan.
It was awesome. Yeah.
The date.
7 hours.
Yes.
We went out for 7 hours and it didn't feel like enough. It was just it was a really great
Oh, that's awesome.
thing. So I mean, thanks.
Our intentions were, did you feel that? Did you feel that?
Something was happening. So
That's great.
yeah, funny.
Oh, look at him. He's glowing. He's so cute.
Thanks, guys.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's amazing. What a great way to end the call.
Definitely.
You guys are the
Great.
best. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Any questions? Circle back. We'll talk to you later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.